Hey, what's going on? It's Tony Scott here, along with Troy Johnson and Mark Clark. We call it Men on Everything, where we chop it up about everything, man. Get into it all. Lots of things obviously going on. Ray Rice and Apple had their event, and just man, lots of things. But I guess we need to start with Ray Rice. I saw Mark posted from his studio last night about what, in his opinion, Ray Rice should do. I don't know if I'm pretty confident Ray Rice won't play anymore this season. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll ever not play again. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I'm not quite sure. I do know that he. I mean, right now, I mean, the video that came out on Monday just kind of, it's like she got hit all over again, and he's paying a bigger price now. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens terminated his contract. The NFL indefinitely suspended him and told other NFL teams that they cannot sign him. The Canadian Football League has told their teams do not sign Ray Rice. Nike dropped him.
Nike cut him.
Madden 15
Yeah.
is gonna take him out of the Madden 15 video game with an update on, I think, on Friday or something. So they're gonna take him off the game, and it's just, I think the Ravens are offering a Ray Rice jersey exchange, and it's just I mean it's part of the storm, I think. His wife came out today and says that, I love my husband, and it's wrong for you guys to show that video, and he felt for her. But on some level, though, I believe that it's no longer about Janae. It should be, but it's no longer. It's about domestic violence and the dirty secret that goes on with. I mean, what we saw, we normally, unless you're the abuser or the victim, we normally don't see domestic violence, and we saw it in all its glory in that video. And as a father of three daughters, and Mark has three daughters, it angered me. It broke my heart, but it really angered me.
Yeah. I think we're all angered by it, and I think there's no excuse whatsoever for what Ray Rice did. Now, Mark said in his video last night, and I got my shirt. I'm a Ravens fan. This is my team, and Ray Rice, prior to what happened in that elevator in Atlantic City, had been what, from all intents and purposes, was a model citizen. He was in the community. He was doing things that were impacting people off the football field. Obviously a great player on the football field. But all that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter because, when you start hitting women, I mean, it's just, I know we're all kind of caught on what exactly should we say about this situation other than just condemn it,
Yeah.
Got to condemn it.
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead, Troy.
I will say, though, because Tony, you talked about, the aftermath. Obviously they're reliving all of this again. All of the video didn't come out months ago, and now we're dealing with the round two, essentially reliving this whole situation that got people up in arms. But you mentioned, him playing football again. I thought, reading between the tea leaves of messages that were sent out there, the fact that the Ravens fired him. He got an indefinite suspension from the NFL. But John Harbaugh said that, he's praying for he and his wife, Janae, and they're going to be there for them. So to me, and I mean, it's way early. I mean, it's too early, but it just kind of sounds like if maybe they're setting up for a redemption. If he gets the counseling that he needs, if he does what he should do, if he serves out a suspension, maybe a year and a half from now, maybe the Ravens try to pick him back up. I don't know. It just kind of seemed like they're cutting ties, but they kind of, I mean, the Cowboys or anybody else could have come in and picked him up yesterday, but that kind of was blocked by this indefinite suspension. And the way John Harbaugh spoke in that press conference kind of sounded like, we know this is a horrific situation, but we're going to try to support them from a personal standpoint because they're part of the family. I don't know. Kind of seemed interesting.
What else did we expect the Ravens and John Harbaugh to say? I don't know if you guys caught Keith Olbermann last night, but he's calling for everybody's jobs. Everybody from Ozzie Newsome to the DA in Atlantic County, New Jersey, to Roger Goodell. He wants everybody's head, and he makes a really compelling case for it.
Oh, I agree. As far as they all were complicit, all are complicit in it. I think, like you said, Tony, before when we started, the thing of the dirty little secret, of domestic violence is we normally, like you said, don't see it. I can safely say that as old as we are, and as long as we've known each other and as many friends that we have, none of us have any close friends or friends that we know of who are abusing their loved ones or wives. But we can also say that though we don't know that, there are some that are.
Well, that's the key phrase though, is that we know of.
Right. And so the dirty little secret of this video, and the reason why I'm glad they showed the video, and I'm glad we got to see it, was this person, as you said, Troy, that we respected and supported and were fans of, thought he was a good guy, quote unquote, was not a good guy.
Yeah.
He is not a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is not a good guy. I don't care. Everyone makes these damn excuses. I'm hearing women make excuses.
That's sad.
You either are a good person or you're not. If you slap a woman to her feet, you're not to the ground. You're not a good guy. You need to get some damn help. And I don't give a damn about your football career. I don't give a damn about anything else. That you need to acknowledge what your issue is and get help and take care of it and stop it. Because if it was our damn daughters, he may be dead today, and our asses are in jail. You're affecting us. And the same thing with people who are victims. It's the same thing. By going to bat for your husband, which any wife would do, you are creating a situation that can only get really bad. Because imagine if it's your damn daughter, and you saw this video and you were at the damn wedding. Tony, Troy, how, as a father, can we even fathom what that would feel like?
No.
And how the rage that you have this very morning when you see this guy? And so I think the dirty little secret is there are guys that are doing this and have been doing it, and we never see the video. Well, we saw the video, and nowadays people see the video. So I don't care if Ray plays football again. I don't care. Now, I just hope he gets his life together.
Now, they say that there's an extended version of this video where there are obscenities exchanged. This is before he struck her, and that she spit on him. So a lot of people will say, because a lot of people, in a lot of cultures, spitting is the ultimate disrespect. When you spit on someone, it's when it's done intentionally, you're open. It's open season on you. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's any situation where a man should strike a woman. Now, I've blogged about that, and I've been cussed out. I've been threatened. I've been, every kind of way handled from, I'm assuming were males. I won't call them men. But, to them, they don't see the big picture. The big picture is you will never win that battle. A man will never win that battle, whether she hits him first or not, or if she provokes him. Will never win that battle. And so it's important. If you know you're not going to win, then why are you going to play the game? You should walk away. I'm not going to let anybody hit me and get away with it. But you're not thinking. And this is where, on the level of a Ray Rice, where there is so much at stake. And I'm not talking about his situation. He knocked her the hell out. And then he stood there like he was waiting on the elevator to get to his floor. And then he dragged her out like garbage. Yep. And that tells me everything I need to know about Ray Rice, that his life up to that point was a lie.
Exactly.
His life was a complete lie. And, you know, her saying today that she loves her husband, leave us alone, I stand by him, things like that. You know, it's hard to gauge what is her true feelings and what is an abused woman's feelings. You know, when you know, it's very typical that abused women marry their significant other, their abuser. It happens all the time. You know, she defended him in a meeting in which, you know, he was there. I think she was like the only woman in the room. Which
she's in Roger Goodell's office. You know, while he's, you know, while the league is debating on what they're going to do about him, she's there essentially, you know, having to defend herself in that situation, in his job.
And you know, Ray Lewis spoke about it because I think they asked him, you know, how does that compare to your situation, which he says was night and day, which is true. That was, to me, that was a stupid question. You know, I mean, because, you know, one of the first things that popped in my mind was his situation was more in line, and I'm not trying to be a smartass, but it was more in line with Aaron Hernandez than it was Ray Rice, right? But you know, I feel for his wife because everybody's making assumptions of her. She's stupid. She does to stay with him. She's only staying with him so she can live the life, you know, which I think is not correct. I think that her self-esteem is low, like it would be for any abused victim of domestic violence. She may love the man, but it may not be a healthy kind of love, you know?
I think that's the part. I think there are two schools of thought here. And again, I don't like to judge. I don't like to judge, but I do judge. I think we all judge. In my book of reasoning, anybody who lets anybody abuse them obviously has low self-esteem and needs to get help. Stop. That's one point. Second point, anybody who tries to look for a reason why he slapped her like that needs to get help, and or is if not an abuser, has been abused, has witnessed abuse, or is insensitive to abuse, because you're trying to justify a man slapping a woman, which that can't be justified. Now, and the third part is, or you were raised, you're just raised differently than how I was raised. Not to say it's better, but I was raised to respect women. I think people who abuse women don't respect women. So that's my judgment, right or wrong. And it's probably wrong, but that's how I feel. So all these discussions on Facebook and all this stuff, and people keep, well, yeah, but we don't know what she did. You know, and like you said, I just how I was raised. I get, you know, if a woman does something that you don't like or whatever, you just walk away. Or she spits in your face, you walk away. You don't ever slap her. But I think we all kind of were raised that way, and some people aren't raised that way. So, I'm not saying we're right. I'm just saying that's just kind of how we probably feel.
And I think, you know, in debates that I've had online with other guys, you know, they say, well, what if she pulls a gun on you? Well, that's a whole different circumstance. That's a whole nother conversation. When it's something like that, when your life becomes in jeopardy, then it's a whole different conversation. So that's not even that has nothing to do with what we're talking. We're talking about someone physically assaulting someone, not someone trying to kill you. Although that line is very thin, you know, admittedly. But you know, one of the things I read yesterday that I thought was interesting is that Ray Rice is going to be allowed to keep his $25 million.
What?
Well, a contract, you know, he had a contract.
But if you violate the behavioral clause in your contract, then I would assume they're not liable for it. But, you know, maybe that report is wrong. Or maybe the Ravens are just like, you know what, go away. Take your money and go away. See, I don't think he'll ever play for the Ravens again. I mean, Jim Harbaugh said all the right things that a team is supposed to say about their star player being terminated because of domestic abuse. He said all the right things, you know, so I'm not reading a lot into what he said because I just think he had to say those things, you know. I wish the players that I think they interviewed, I saw 3 Ravens players on TV. I wish they would have just said, you know what, I got no comment.
They should, because there are abusers on the team that are, you know, video away from getting kicked out of the league also. I don't mention any names. You know,
and you know, you sound like you know this.
Oh yeah, it's a fact.
Okay.
We've already had. There's a linebacker on our team who already was already who abused his baby mama or wife or whatever, and he skated. So you know, I have a bad taste in my mouth for the Ravens at this point, to be honest, and the whole thing. You know.
But Keith Olbermann called for a boycott of the games. Now, I don't think as a society, I think that ship sailed a long time ago as far as boycotting anything. I don't think that's realistic. Folks are just not that interested in giving up what they love for the sake of any cause. I just don't think that happens anymore.
Ravens Steelers Thursday night.
you know.
Right.
I mean, you think people are turning the TV off for that matchup? Hell no.
So Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, says he doesn't think Ray Rice will ever play again. Michael Vick.
He sure as hell said he wouldn't play on his team. He said, I ain't signing.
Yeah, Michael Vick says there's no room for that in the league. President Obama says he, in essence, that Ray Rice isn't a real man. And then, in here in St. Louis, people say, well, he commented on that pretty quick. How come he didn't comment on Ferguson?
Damn.
So, people like, it's like you just pulling stuff, people pulling stuff in and
St. Louis in the house, baby.
Hey, get it when you can.
It's just one of those things, and I don't know what to I don't know what to hope for. I mean, obviously, I hope the domestic violence goes away, and it goes away like in the next 60 seconds. So that ain't gonna happen. It's never gonna go away. But if we don't, one of the things that really always angers me is when people say, I ain't surprised, he's a football player. I ain't surprised that happened. That's how white folks are. When people say that, you become an enabler. And they don't even, I'm not surprised. You're supposed to be surprised. This is why we are where we are now, because I'm not surprised. You're supposed to be surprised. You're supposed to be angered and moved and motivated to do something to affect change, but we don't do that anymore.
Person is, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Well, the person that says that is a victim. That's what That's what I realized. Like, the people who say the crazy stuff, they're victims, and so in their life, in their normal life, this stuff happens all the time. Yeah. So they're used to. I was thinking, now some men were raised in a situation where women dominated and abused them. So they would be. I could hear them saying that. They were raised by, unlike us, who had women who loved us and all taught us that. Some guys were abused by women, sure. So they feel that way. So when I hear that, Tony, I hear victims. And in St. Louis and in Baltimore and D.C. and New York and black communities and in any community, there's a ton of victims. That's why when these crazy things happen, they say that. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
It's like, because in their life, sadly, it has to happen. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Troy.
No, I mean, I think we kind of talked about this already. The audacity for people to call up and try to, I don't know. I heard some sports talk shows where just what you were talking about, Tony, where a guy says, well, what if this happened and what if that happened? And, it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
There's no justification for any of this. And, for you to try to be F. Lee Bailey and, sit up here and try to, carve out a scenario where it's okay for a man to hit a woman, you're out of your freaking mind.
Well, it's just, the community where I live, the St. Louis community, and following people on Facebook and people that follow me and they post things and stuff like that, I should not be surprised, but
I'm not surprised.
But you know what, I am at the insensitivity of people and how people have this warped way of connecting things. Ray Rice should not have been fired from the Baltimore Ravens. Well, what should have happened? They just did this to stir things up. Somebody actually posted, Ray Rice got fired from the Ravens and they can't even arrest Darren Wilson for killing Michael Brown.
Hey, man. Welcome to the 21st century, where people can make any comment that they want to, and you know what? I think people, because this platform that we're discussing on is on social media. It's fueled by people who have an opinion that maybe didn't have an opinion before. But you're right. There is a cavalier thread that runs through a lot of things when I post things, not just abuse, just some information that's worthy of thought. And people, like you said, they're like, I didn't. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, no, you didn't.
No.
I mean, it's a posturing. It's just what kind of little wisecracky answer can I have here and there? And you're right. And mixed in that are some people who really don't have a freaking clue.
And there are people
really don't.
who have bigger platforms than us. I mean, on Fox News, you know, the guy said, "What's the lesson from this? Take the stairs." Really?
Because there are cameras on the elevator.
Now's the time to be cute. Now you want to be cute. A woman came on Fox and she says, "Well, where's the president in all this?" ISIS? Anybody? I mean,
Right.
yeah, really? And it's just, it makes you want to crawl in a hole where you don't have to talk to anybody or read anybody's post or listen to anybody. You just want to crawl in a hole because the world has gone crazy. Social media has given people balls that they would never have if it wasn't around.
No, but I just kind of, the trick I use, man, is just I just try not to get drawn in and just kind of remember, like I said, it is what it is. A lot of people are striving for attention. A lot of people, you know, what's funny, and you guys know, I can be long-winded. So if I really go in on a stupid point, what I notice is most people, they don't even support their stupid point. Very few people support their point. You know what I mean? They said something crazy. If you actually say, well, challenge them on that stupid point, most people aren't in. They just kind of like, oh, they just are just saying it to get a reaction, you know? Or what's even funnier is they'll come around to your thing after you just challenge their stupid point. So then that makes you believe that they just were saying it to fish. They were just fishing to get some attention, some love, some whatever, you know. We are spoiled because we've been able to get our point of views out for years. A lot of people, like you said, they never had a chance to get it out. And now social media allows them to get it.
Yeah, maybe that's a great point.
Allows them to get their half-baked, non-thought-out point of view.
Drug influenced. Yeah, that's a great point. Do you guys believe that the NFL never saw this tape before it came out for everybody to see? This part of the videotape where he actually laid hands on the woman?
Ooh, conspiracy theory? Mark?
Well, I will say this, Troy. You remember? I know you remember because you covered it, Troy. At first, they said there was video, but they said there was video on the floor of the casino that showed a struggle or whatever. But they never. I don't think they ever mentioned video taken inside of an elevator. But there was video they mentioned. Then it went away. Then it never was addressed again. Because I remember getting into a discussion and someone said. I think someone said that the video on the floor showed them punching each other, and then someone and then it went away. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't. You know what I will say? I don't know. And Troy, and Troy, you know, I'm a conspiracy guy. I don't know if they did. I could believe that TMZ got it and law enforcement didn't. I could actually believe that.
Well, all the law enforcement agencies, the state police in New Jersey, the Atlantic City Police Department said they had the video. And it was given to them by Rebel Casino, which is now out of business. And I think all of these things obviously have a tie-in together. Did Roger Goodell see the video, the man who makes the decision about these suspensions? I'm inclined to believe that he didn't.
That he did not?
That he did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it kind of, I think what people are struggling with is I didn't see the video, but the DVD was it on his desk? was the DVD?
It was in his inbox.
Was the DVD on Steve Bisciotti's desk of the Baltimore Ravens? That's the question. We're talking, and I mean, this is, if you've been following the story, people have been talking about. You're talking about the freaking FL, and the tentacles, the ability that they have to reach into so many different areas, especially when you're talking about a situation like this. You have people that used to work on the FBI, you have law enforcement officers on every team.
That's a good point.
So you would think that they would have the kind of connections that could have gotten hold of this video.
Right.
But I think we spent a lot of time talking about Ray Rice and the Ravens and the NFL and their role in the situation. And obviously some people might believe that Ray Rice told his story to the team. All indications were that he described the scenario, probably not as violently as it looked on that video, but it sounds like that was the case. But you know what? After all of that, it goes back to the prosecutor in New Jersey and how Ray Rice walked out of that courtroom doing what he did without jail time is amazing to me. Houdini is applauding right now.
I mean, how he was eligible for a diversion program based on this is a question that I would like to be answered from the prosecuting attorney.
I mean, this story this part of the story is what is interesting to me. A guy commits an egregious crime, gets a diversionary program that will eventually drop the charges if he completes it.
Expunge his record, right?
Expunging his record, and then at his job. Today is Tuesday. If none of this had come out Friday, he would have been back on the team.
Yeah, that'd be the second game was Thursday. So yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what? After all that, Troy, you're right. The NFL saw it. They saw it. They did. Yeah, they did. You're right. They basically played it, man. They got a pass from the criminal side, and they put the ball back in play. They kept the party going, man. They just said forget about it.
Well, before we move on to something else, let me ask Troy. You're in the Baltimore area, man. You're there. I mean, I know people in Baltimore. They love their Ravens, and they love Ray Rice. Ray Rice is a hero in Baltimore. So, how are people in Baltimore feeling?
I think you have. I mean, it's you're torn. Like me, I'm a fan of the team. Ray Rice can kick rocks, in my opinion. I don't have a Ray Rice jersey, but if I did, I'd be taking it down to the stadium and getting rid of it because, there's just no place for what he did. There's no excuse. There's no place for it. And I think the reason why I kind of mentioned the other side of the story with Ray and the Ravens is, it's a fan base and a city where, you could, if you were anywhere in town and you felt like, man, we're all we got, when you walk into a store on Purple Friday and everybody has on a jersey or a Ravens t-shirt, it feels like that kind of community. And that imaging and that feeling stems from what happens in Owings Mills, in the castle. So, when you hear players kind of saying, several players that were asked about this situation not only talked about Ray Rice, but they talked about his wife, Janae, because they're friends, because they're close. And, you're torn between, this is a person I care about who's committed something egregious, but, can I walk away from him? Can I, it's really convoluted. To be truthfully honest, I'm sure a lot of people are convoluted. They wanted to believe that this was not as crazy as it was. That's why he got applauded when he was playing in the preseason, because people thought that, he made a mistake. It's certainly, nobody had an idea that it was as crazy as this, or they wanted to believe that it wasn't as crazy as this.
I think that's what it was. They didn't want to believe it, but then we saw the mistake.
But how do they not want to believe it? That has a lot to do with what the Baltimore Ravens did, based on, and if it's based on what he told them, I mean, that's a lot of trust. You're putting a lot of, there's a lot riding on what one man says about what he did in a situation.
That's why I think. That's why I'm sorry to cut you off. I think that's why they will let him go. I mean, I think that's why he won't ever play for them again, because we got you, we support you, we got your back, but you lied.
Now, him playing for another team is a possibility. I don't know what kind of backlash a team would get for picking him up. I mean,
it won't be for a couple years.
Yeah, I mean,
but the NFL career is a very short career, though. You know, it's not very many running backs who play 15 years, or for I don't know how long he's played, but I mean, it seemed like, it's a short shelf life for an NFL player.
What he can't 27. Do, what he can't do is gain weight around his hips, because nobody wants that. The little guy with the hippie little guy. No, Ray, get in that gym, get some help. Do not gain weight in your fatty buttocks and thigh area. That is not a good look, buddy.
Oh, man. The owner of the Atlanta Hawks, man, he's going to sell the team because of an email he sent out 2 years ago to his executives. He actually turned himself in. I don't know if somebody was getting ready to blackmail him, or I don't know what the deal is on that, but...
I know. You didn't hear who turned him in?
Who turned him in?
Donald Sterling.
Well, there's one.
I got
yeah,
one.
you got one. So in the email, he implies, what he says is that, I look around the stadium and, the cheerleaders are black, the kiss cam is black, the clubs we have in the arena are black, the music we play is hip hop, the concerts we schedule for after the game for incentive to come to the game are either hip hop or gospel. And his point was he can't grow his base because no white people are coming to the games. And that was perceived as racist. Now, I read the email, and I could see where it would be perceived as racist, but it sounded like a businessman who probably didn't word it the way it should have been worded.
He sounded like a stupid person. That's what he sounded like. Like he sounded like he's in a barbershop.
But
the email, I didn't have a problem, really, to be honest, with the email necessarily. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem. It's called hire a PR firm, tell them what your specific market is, what your demo is, and they go after the demo. Imagine that. There are companies that really do that.
Well, yeah, Mark.
Why are you having this conversation, this email? And then I was like, he talked about his upscale white, potential white customer versus his black customer. What are the numbers? You own the damn team. What's the base like? Do white upscale people in the South enjoy the NBA?
Well, but I think his point was this, and he did point out, Washington D.C. is even as the majority population is African American, but only 15% of the Wizards attendees to the game are African American. But to what he was saying, I think there may have been some.
Is that the model that he wants?
You know what?
That's the model he wanted.
He wants 15% of Black Atlanta to come to the Hawks games. Okay.
But here's the thing. That threw me off, Troy and Tony. Get some damn numbers, man. You're in business.
Yeah.
You're talking from you sound like, again, we're having this conversation at the barbershop. You own the damn team. What are the numbers? What are the breakdowns? What's the marketplace as far as if you do a systematic breakdown of the marketplace? Where are the holes in it? And then secondly, there are companies that get demos all the time. You think that these stadiums play Cotton Eye Joe and all the damn White Snake songs in a row? You think that's just accident? No, it's to keep the black people away. Okay?
Well, but I think
we're gonna drive black people away in a bar, play country music. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's like he's an idiot. I mean, hire a company and get your market, define who you want to come to your game and have a company do it.
I hate it when he holds back, man. I hate it when he. But one of the points that he did make, Mark, was that because it is Atlanta and it is the South, that a lot of white people don't want to go to games when they know a lot of black people around there. White people don't like to be around a lot of black people, I think, is what he was trying to, one of the points that he was making. And I think because it is the South, there may be some truth to that.
White people don't want to be around a lot of black people at an NBA game where a lot of black people are playing basketball. What the hell is going on, man? I mean, these glimpses of reality, I think there are a lot of people who, thank goodness, discuss what is happening in America from a racial standpoint, and they try to point out that these situations happen, and they try to point out that I'm not crazy, we're being discriminated against, or these things are happening, and systematically But every now and then, thank goodness we get to see the curtain pulled back, and you really do see what's happening.
But we always say that we want conversation. We want to talk about race. And here's a guy who brought it up, probably not in the best way, but he was willing. He didn't want it discussed, and he's being labeled a racist. Is that fair?
Here's what I meant by that. Racist. Yeah, yes, he did. As he hit the door, yeah. But he didn't want a conversation about race. I think what's interesting is, to me, I'm just saying, is now you see behind the scenes what a lot of people really kind of that feel like, why is my experience when I go to a Hawks game as a black person not everything that it should be? If the owner doesn't want me there. That's what it comes down to.
So is that going to hurt him now with his black attendees? Are they going to feel insulted? Well, now they're not going to support the team. So is he going to be in a worse position now?
Well, I think he's
out of there now. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's called winning. I think winning brings people to your stadium. That's number one. And what could be happening is, since you're not winning, but you do provide a good experience for African Americans, the African Americans are rocking with you because they're having a good experience, even though your team sucks. But I tell you what, I guarantee you, if you start winning some damn games, everybody of all colors will come to the game. And so it's kind of like, and this is the thing, that's the thing about people of color always get blamed for whatever you want to blame it. It's like, again, hire companies that deal with this. He's not capable of dealing with this. You hire a company. You say you want your fan base to be 85% white, then you hire a company that gets that for you.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like he probably, it sounds like he was frustrated with what he got, but he wasn't applying, to me, like really applying real research to getting answers for what he wants. Look at the baseball team. I think the baseball team, the Braves have I think high African American attendance, unlike other baseball teams, but at the same time, they have a high overall attendance also. Maybe you need to ask the Braves about how to do.
Well, the Braves will tell you, move out of Atlanta, which is exactly what they're going to do.
You see, even the owner of the Hawks says that when people tell him the arena is in a bad location, he said that to him that's code for saying that there's too many black people in the city, and that's why the white people won't go. But
did he not get the memo, Tony? Yes, sir. Yes, you're white. We are black people know that. I mean, like, he's saying stuff that everything he said is stuff that we already know. Why is he so shocked by it?
Well,
we had that conversation, Tony, in St. Louis. So one of the production directors didn't go to the Fox because it was in a bad neighborhood, and it was saying that he did the Fox wasn't a good place because a lot of white people are afraid to go to downtown St. Louis. That's common everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely real. I'm just shocked that he doesn't understand that that's what everybody's battling. But again, like I said, look at DC. How did they get around it? Well, I can tell. I'm from Springfield, Illinois. I was raised with white people. He could hire me, and I can show him how to get rid of black people at the basketball.
Well, I don't think he wants to get rid of them. I just think he wants to increase his base.
Yeah.
And because
number one, take out all hip hop. No hip hop in any restaurant. Get all white cheerleaders and one black cheerleader with a weed. Okay, hire all white basketball players. Get rid of all your black players with ghetto names and get white people.
So you're saying Kyle Korver needs to start,
right? Get rid of all the Atlanta radio people who are emceeing the game. Get rid of them and replace them with some unknown white guy on one of the formats that nobody cares about. These are ways you get us out of there.
Well, but again, I mean, we're making light, and Marcus is, to me, what's resonating, and I'm going to go back to it again. He's talking about going to a PR company, going to a consulting firm to help them craft their fan base a certain way, and that is interesting to me. I think, it's like, if I owned an NBA team, I want everybody.
Right.
That's
right.
me. That's me. I want to see whatever the demographics in the city. I want it to be representative of that and the area. I want to see everybody enjoying the game. The fact that owners of companies, owners of teams would be considering, hey, you know what? We need to have our demographic in terms of who enjoys our team to look a certain way is interesting to me.
Well,
I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I guess that's what the point I'm trying to make. Sure, it can happen. Sure, these conversations could be having in a boardroom, but I think it goes back again to why people feel a certain way about what they can do, especially when, as you mentioned in that email, he talks about Washington D.C., which is barely African American majority town. So if they're having conversations about that, if that's how they craft the Wizards, for example, then think about the meeting that changes the tone and the population of a city. You know what I'm saying? There are other things moving around in the back. And listen to me, I'm getting conspiracy theory.
No, it's not even conspiracy theory, guys. I think he doesn't understand how the game works. The stadiums, the arenas, it's all driven by corporate dollars that buy the VIP and the season tickets and all that kind of stuff. So again, where's his class on how to run a damn organization?
Right.
From Dan Snyder to Ted Leonsis, they know how to build stadium and business because it's driven by, like people always complain in DC, it doesn't matter what the fans are doing because all the VIP seating is sold out to corporate. So your days are spent locking down your corporate dollars for your VIPs. He's trying to attract. He's trying to attract. He got it all wrong. He doesn't even know what he's doing. So that's what I'm saying. He sounds like he doesn't really know how to be an owner in this league. You look at Kraft, all these guys, Jerry Jones, their stadium, it's not built on the regular guy who comes and buys a ticket to the game. It's built on your corporate sponsorships.
Let's talk about his general manager, Danny Ferry, and his comments about one of his players having a little African in him. Now, clearly that was racist. But then the Hawks say they've disciplined him, but they're not going to let him go.
First of all, we're talking
Danny
about
Ferry?
Yeah, Danny Ferry made the comments about Luol Deng, who has a lot of African in him.
But you mean that literally? He didn't. His comments were not to be taken that way, though. His comments.
No, not at
all. The email sounds like he was joking, wasn't he? Your owner sends you this email that doesn't make any sense. An email that's kind of stupid, and then you write back something else that's stupid. It's kind of like the whole conversation doesn't seem real. It seems what's the word I'm looking for? Is it colloquial when you're just having a non-real business conversation? Like you know what I'm saying? Like if we really are trying to get to the bottom of this, this is not a real conversation. If we're just talking shit like we do at the barbershop, then we are. Well, I don't know what that conversation is called, but you know what I mean? That's what so if I'm Danny Fair and your boss sends you this information that you get, all the cheerleaders are black, so and so and so and so, you kind of read it and you go, okay, like what do you want me to do about it? And then so and so Luol Deng, yeah, you got a little African in whatever. It just seems like it was I don't understand. This is not an official email or what the goal of the email even was. It sounded like
they were scouting Luol Deng as a potential player for their team.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Luol Deng, who is African.
Yes.
Has a little African in him?
Well, the reason he was saying a little African, I'm sure Tony has a quote there in front of him, but referring
they throw
to the tendencies of Africans is what
something about he sells stuff out the back, but he sells counterfeit stuff out the back. I mean, in the front, but sells counterfeit stuff out the back.
Yeah,
which
right. I think he was describing. This again is a scouting report on Luol Deng that says he's got a little African in him.
But you know what though? But you know what? If he'd have said a certain player had a little bit of Jew in him, he'd be out of a job.
Oh yeah, he'd be out of the league forever.
The
Jews would have banished him.
I'm not surprised.
Well, it sounds like they were joking though. I mean, obviously it was like, yeah, he got a little African himself.
Yeah.
Ha, sell that team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm not as outraged about this as I was with Sterling. But the funny thing that you guys mentioned, this the same thing is black people coming to the game. that's the underlying. Troy, I guess that's what you said. That's the underlying theme for all this is, the owners are very conscious of who's coming to the
Right.
games, and if we like it or don't like it, that's real. And that other factor is real. I think we will all agree that we've been in situations where if you have too many black people, white people do get scared and don't come, and that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
A fact that we've seen, and it's sad, but it's true. It could be a room, it could be what happens all the time. We're the minority in most corporate situations, but let it be 7 black people, and oh my God, it's a whole problem.
So I was reading about the celebrities who had their iCloud accounts hacked, and a lot of pictures that they didn't want out got out. And amongst those who had their pictures out was Jill Scott, who had a couple of pictures that were attributed to her.
Yeah.
One she says was her. She goes, "Yeah, that's me in the robe. That's me. I was I was chronicling my weight loss and stuff like that."
Yeah.
The other picture she says is not me. She goes, "I wish my thighs had that gap in there, but the second one is not me. Sorry." So, so if that's not her, then where'd the second picture come from?
Ooh, I don't care. Let's go back. Let's go back to her picture.
Yeah.
Woo, Jill, go ahead, girl.
Damn, Jill.
I mean, I think she handled it very well, though. She said, "Yeah, that's me. The second one ain't me, but that one, yeah, that's me. Obviously, that's me. That's my face. That's me. I did take that picture. But the second one, whose cloud did that come off of? That second picture?
That was Bahamadia.
Bahamadia. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Oh,
I've been talking about it.
But you know what, man? The problem here with that is you're going to see her in the hallway today. So be careful. Protect your neck, son. Protect your neck.
So do you think you think the second picture is her?
Man, I will say this: they both passed the test. If you know what I mean.
First of all,
they both passed.
I heard that.
I want to concentrate on Jill's photograph. She looked like the hot neighbor.
Oh man, yes.
Whose nap was interrupted. Wow.
No.
And I think she needs to remix living in what's the song called? Living My Life Like It's Golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she needs to do a remix.
Wow. Remix. Well,
living my life like I'm holding.
And she is.
She's holding. And I wish somebody would. This is my last point on this photograph. I wish somebody at Apple would invent technology that allows pictures to come to life. so I can get a fan and blow the tip of that chub. Wow.
The Smoking Gun says that the people who claim responsibility for hacking people's accounts are going after Gabrielle Union, Keke Palmer, Megan Good, and Rihanna. Now, we've already seen Rihanna. We've seen her pictures on the internet, back even when she was getting started, those pictures that got out and everything like that with the pierced nipples and all that stuff like that. But, I mean, if you're Gabrielle Union or Keke Palmer or Megan Good or even Rihanna, do you switch to Android now that the iCloud's been hacked? Or, I mean, the most logical thing to do is to not put those pictures on your phone, but I don't even think that's on the table because I don't think people think that way anymore.
Well, they traced the culprit in the Jill Scott pictures was actually Randy O.J. So that one picture, Randy O.J. Hey baby.
Man,
Look at
I don't know.
Jill Scott's picture is like the grown woman category. Everybody else, they little girls. I don't know.
Oh,
Guys,
man.
come say hi to La Loca.
Hey,
Hello.
what's up?
How you doing?
Hey, that's That's
La
that's
Loca.
the young lady who does middays on the station where Mark is. So,
That's right.
Yes,
how are you?
She's amped up because of Fashion Week.
yes. I'm going to Fashion Rocks. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Man, I've seen
Excellent.
pictures of her. Man, she's fine, man. I mean, goodness.
Yes, she is.
I didn't La Loca's fine, but this is different. I didn't recognize. That's why I went in the street. I was like, "Hello!" I didn't know. She's got the girls out and everything, guys. She's ready to rock.
All right now.
That's all right.
Any comments on the nude leaks? Are we going to be seeing your pictures leaked?
No,
Hey,
we're-
you don't have any photographs on the cloud, do you?
I have a video with Mark in it.
Oh!
I'm just
No. Hey,
You
hey,
know
hey,
what?
hey, 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 hey.
No, you know what? Actually, La Loca does have buns and a book.
I do. So I have a leaked photo already anyway.
What's it
Oh,
called?
excellent.
It's a book called But of Course.
But of course,
BUTT, of course.
Yeah, it was for charity. I did it.
You showed your ass for charity?
Yeah, they sold the book. I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it was.
Thank
it was
God
a
for
coffee
charity.
book. Yeah, you won't see my tattoo, so you won't know it's mine. But
Mhm.
it's just a book called But of Course. It's old.
You got a tattoo on your buttocks?
On my
Or
back.
on your back?
Lower back. I have what they call the tramp stamp. I
Oh,
know.
I got you.
it's right by. I'm playing. She's like a cousin, like a play cousin.
I understand. I got cousins. I never play with my cousins like that.
Like a Tony, she's like a Latina
Yeah,
play cousin. She's Dominican.
How you
Dominica.
doing? Hey.
Tony's Hispanic, but he don't speak.
Oh no.
He's Mexican. Mexican and Dominicans got beef.
It was a nice pleasure meeting you guys. I gotta head up out of
Okay,
here.
be
Bye.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
All
La
right.
all right.
Loquita is in the building.
La Loca.
All right.
So, last story, man. Nick Olivas was 14 years old when he says he had an affair with a 20-year-old woman. And we fast forward 10 years later. He's now 24. The woman's 30 years old. She filed for public assistance. And he finds out that he's the father of a daughter. And now the state of Arizona says you owe us $15,000 in back child support plus the cost of the daughter's birth and 10% interest. And he said, wait, what? I was a victim. I got statutory rape. I'm a victim of statutory rape. What are you talking about? Because in Arizona, you got to be 15 to consent to sex. He was 14, but he never pressed charges because he didn't know that was an option. So he finished high school. He went to college. He's a medical assistant, and he's being garnished $380 a month. And he said, I shouldn't have to pay for this because I was a victim. And he says moving forward, yes, I want a relationship with my daughter. And yes, I will pay child support, but I shouldn't have to pay the 15 grand and the other expenses plus interest. I shouldn't be on the hook for that. I didn't even know that was my child. And Arizona says, somebody got to pay, and you the father, you the pappy, so you got to pay. Now, if he had pressed charges and she had been convicted, then he would not have to pay.
Arizona is a piece of crap.
Well, I mean, but what do you think? Should he be off the hook? Obviously, Mark feels that way, that he shouldn't have to pay the $15,000 back in back child support. I mean,
come on, man. Come on, son. He's a medical assistant. First of all, it's going to take him 10 years to pay the $15,000 back.
That's right.
I mean, to me, every state has different laws regarding child support. Every state, because it's a state issue, it's a state by state thing. So every state does it a little bit differently. But all of these laws, to me, are old and busted, and they need to be looked at again. Some of them, probably most of them, need to stay. But we live in a different world now, where it's always been put basically on the male. Never mind. What about the situations where the female lied and said he was the father and he wasn't, and he's been paying all this child support? So now is the state in that situation? Will the state write him a check for $15,000 and then go after the real father? No, that won't happen because the state says, "Well, you've been classified as a father all along. Just keep being a father." Well, that ain't. Come on. To me, in Kansas back in '93. The Supreme Court there in Kansas says that a 13-year-old boy that got his 17-year-old babysitter pregnant had to pay child support, even though state law prohibits children under than 15 from even consenting to sex. But he was still on the hook for child support. And in California, a 15-year-old had to pay child support for a child conceived with a 34-year-old neighbor who was convicted of statutory rape. So to me, it's like these laws, they need to be re-examined because there are just certain things. Those laws have always been slanted against males.
We need Tony Scott on the Supreme Court.
I mean, they always have. And I'm not saying, and I think most of the laws probably need to stay. But there needs to be some tweaking there because, life has changed. And, I've always said that the Constitution, as great as it is, may have to be looked at again. Because the world is different now. We live in a different world. So maybe there's some tweaking that needs to be done. I'm not saying we need to take any rights from anybody. But I'm just saying we need to look at it because they're people. I mean, we're different. It's a different world. So
unfortunately, these laws that govern a lot of child support situations, I can't speak to this one particularly. These are obviously beyond the purview of what most laws would normally encompass. But and a lot of these day-to-day problems that we all know we've heard about and we've obviously talked about ad nauseum when it comes to child support is you have two people who are not communicating with each other. And a child is in the balance. And because there's no communication, now you create a situation where the government then needs to step in and make you communicate. So if you can't talk face-to-face with each other and you can't work this situation out, well, there's a child support office that is going to make sure that this child is taken care of. So that's what happens. Like when you can't communicate we have to learn how to communicate better.
Well, that's true. That's true because I remember when my oldest daughter was a child and I went through my divorce, and I remember the lawyers telling us it would be better for you guys to work out any deal that you can work out. Because if it goes to court, they're going to pull out this chart and nobody's going to be happy. So if you guys can find common ground, we will take that common ground and recommend it to the judge, and he's going to sign off on it.
Yeah.
So it is in your best interest to sit here like civilized people and work it out. So to your point, Troy, I think you're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tony.
I'm here for you, man. So
I appreciate it.
Well, we're about an hour in, man. So we're going to wrap it up here. If you enjoyed our show, which is always a good thing to share your experience with people by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing and reposting and things like that, it will be so much appreciated. All that is free to do. It's also free to sign up for the newsletter. You can go to talking360.com and sign up for that also. So that, and I think there was something else I was gonna. Oh, we've got Men on Scandal coming back in a little over 2 weeks. We'll be back covering Scandal from a male perspective, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that as well and tell your friends that we'll be back with that as soon as the season picks up. I believe on the 25th.
Yeah, I'm excited because we're all going to be dressed in the Olivia Pope collection. It's going to be.
I do have my coat coming in any day now, so
it's going to be amazing.
and my gloves. My white gloves I'll be wearing also, so that'll be something. Actually, I think on the first episode I may wear my Gladiator T-shirt. Yes. Maybe we should all wear it that day.
We do. Mark, I have one for you. I have one for you. Straight from LA, man. I got it.
Oh, you still have that, man?
I got it.
Did you ever give them the check they gave us?
5 strong ones. 5 bands. 5 bands, baby.
I gave it to that kid who's got a child.
Oh, to help out with the 15,000, try to knock that down a little bit.
I'm trying to share the love, man.
So
pay it forward.
Well, that's Men on Everything. Thanks for watching. I'm Tony Scott in Washington, D.C. That's Troy Johnson and Mark Clark with La Loca at Radio 103.9. Thanks for watching Men on Everything, and we'll see you next week.